Right.
Hey, what's good? How we feeling, fellas?
Right.
Less black, highly favored, and I think I'm without a belt. Damn.
BT.
I think you are. I think you are. I'm gonna hold that down for you. Don't feel too bad about it, brother.
Damn it.
Don't feel too bad. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, ducks, and all of the above. We're back here, man. Episode number 92. Mightiest of the mighty, the Ringside Club. Of course, as we've been doing this entire year, killing it with the guests, we have another special guest. But before we get into introductions and reintroductions, we have that time of the show, otherwise known as the show before the show, otherwise known as survey time. So, we have a survey question to go around the ring this week with this TNA and NXT collab that's been going down. Who is next to cross over from TNA to NXT to continue that collab? I'm going to go and say ABC, man. I'm going Ace Austin and Chris Bay. I think they are right in that age bracket that fits in real nice with what's going on over there in NXT. I mean, so I'm going to say ABC. They pop up and do a little tag team 1-2 thing. What say y'all?
Vaughn, what you got?
So, matter of fact, by the way, AO pretty much read me like a book because I had that same name that came to mind, Chris Bay. Like, even whether it's a tag team, or especially just by himself, that's like when we talked about this before we started. Chris Bay was automatically the first name that popped up and came to mind. Like, imagine dream matches with Trick Williams and Wesley. You know what I mean, could have had Mello had stayed on the roster somewhere, but like I said, I gotta go with the finesse king Chris Bay for going to NXT.
The ultimate finesse. Chad, what you got?
I'm gonna go with a wild card here. Since we already bringing in a bunch of jabronis from TNA like Kazarian, I'm gonna go ahead and say the human jobber himself, Mike Bailey, is next to make his debut in NXT and take a big old loss to Axiom or somebody of complete randomcy in NXT. Because what does Mike Bailey do best? Put on bangers and lose. So I'm going Mike Bailey next.
Randomcy is a fire word, but not as fire as the word that you're going to get after the show starts. Let's get it started right now. Peace to y'all, it's the Ringside Club, A.O., Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream, y'all. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start. Once again, peace, of course, to the gods, peace, of course, to the earth. Everybody out there, hope you're doing well. We are live, 9:05 live, like we usually do every Thursday night, right here on X, right here on YouTube. It's your boys, 2/3, of course, of the Ringside Club. Peace to Book, who's out on assignment. We're here, man, the mightiest of the mighty. Now, before we reintroduce ourselves and, of course, introduce our guests, I want to let everybody know in ear and eyes reach that you can find us at theringsideclub.com. All the past episodes are there. All the future episodes, of course, are there. You can find us across all social media, from the TikTok to the IG to the X and everywhere in between. If there's a social media, we're there. And speaking of being able to find us, you can find us across all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere else. Of course, the on demand if you don't catch on air on YouTube. With that being said, my name is A.O. Baker, of course, the signature mover, man. You can find me where you find me, or maybe not. Chad, what's good?
It's the kid, Young Gadawa himself, CHADLAW, the former RSC Predictions heavyweight champion. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to edit this header because I have lost my belt.
I'm going to hold that down.
Belt is now out of my possession. Unfortunately, I lost on account of my own stupidity. Will there be blood during the Cody and AJ match? Fucking of course there was. Because why did I think that there needed to be a clean-cut, decisive babyface happy-go-lucky, smiley face victory from Cody Rhodes to end the show, when that clearly wasn't the case at all. And there was a little driplet of blood. So to be fair, there was blood. And AO, on wax, did say there will be blood. And on wax, I said there wouldn't be. And that was the deciding factor. So AO is the new RSC Predictions Heavyweight Champion, y'all. You know what I'm saying? My man got the belt back. AO Danielson is now the RSC Predictions Champion until his time of the year Forbidden Door pops up next weekend. And we have to cut that.
Oh man, look at technology turning hell. What my man Chad was about to say was I'm gonna hold that title down probably until about Forbidden Door, which means I have a week and some change, but it's all good. It doesn't matter. If I am not the official RSC Predictions champ, I am the champ in the hearts of the people. But with that being said, man, we have a special guest, my man Vaughn. Man, we've known of each other. We've bumped into each other at different events here and there.
Defending.
Yeah, obviously talk a good chunk of wrestling across these social.
He's not from O
platforms.
Block though, but this is King Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? He not
Vaughn
from the
in
O.
The building.
I don't know if he's from the O or not. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
DC though. That's all I gotta say.
Vaughn, welcome to the Ringside Club. Appreciate you for hanging out with us tonight, bro.
Yeah, what's up, man? I appreciate you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Welcome Ringside, my boy.
That's what's up. It's
been a goodie. We got a lot of things on the docket tonight. Best believe I'm over here dressed like a blooded Crip, fresh off of the They Not Like Us spectacular. Wah. You know what I'm saying? Hell of a show last night with K. Dot. Amazing show, I gotta say. Be remiss if we didn't speak about that just real briefly before we get into the wrestling. Amazing concert last night. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that they featured every brand of LA, whether it was independent, underground, mainstream, and then the hierarchy, which I think was really dope. You know, you had Blue Bucks Clan, Rucci, OGZ, Remble, you had Dom Kennedy, Ty Dolla $ign, Roddy Ricch, you had Black Hippie Reunion / a Black Hippie performance that I think people have probably seen for the first time in their lives. I don't think people have even seen Black Hippie perform live ever. You know what I'm saying?
Think about like the amount of time that's been a thing to be able to come back, and people are nostalgic about Black Hippie, which is just a fire spot to be in, you know?
Like, that was so curated to a point where I was like, yo, TDE is fucking good, man. They're good with this one. They planned this one the fuck out. PG Lang, TDE, they did their thing with this one. Dave Free, K. Dot. He took his moment and he put the whole city of LA on. And I thought that was really, really unique. That was dope. I seen New York Twitter arguing about, like, how are we going to compete? Who from New York can we have do this? Chef G and Fabio Foreign, Fab and French Montana. I was just like, kind of tough.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Yeah, you gotta just let it breathe, man. I don't think New York can compete with this.
That was a great show.
Yeah,
that was a great show, and that was a great set. That was a great ending. That photo, those last, end of the show photos that they've been taking. I've seen a couple of remixes of how that could be turned into an album cover. It looks very similar to the Pimple Butterfly. I saw it grayscale.
Shit inspired my fit right now, man. I'm feeling like a blooded Crip, man. I'm feeling like I should be on a trial membership for gangbanging right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is crazy.
Man, you can hold that down in your corner of the screen, my man. You got it. You got it. But not hell of a show. Hell of a show.
Much love to all the gang members that tune into the RSC and all wrestling content. We have love for y'all as well. I know y'all enjoy wrestling, raps, and all that good shit. But right now, we here to talk some good grapples. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Before we even get into any topics or running down anything from the past week, Vaughn, let everybody in Eyes and Ears Reach know where they can find you, what shows you have going on, anything else you have going on that you want to let folks know about.
All right. So of course, I'm Vaughn Resper Jr., King Vaughn Jr., of course, the Victorious Ones podcast. I've been doing this like my 147th episode. So you can follow me on social media on Twitter at 301 King Vaughn Jr., as it says on the screen. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Vaughn Jr., Mr. King Vaughn Jr. And so of course, those are ways that you can follow me on social media. And of and of course, like I said, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Vaughn Resper Jr. And that's where I stream my episodes. And so, matter of fact, yesterday, so I finished giving a review of Clash of the Castle as well myself. And next week, I'm definitely going to go into my thoughts about about the Kendrick concert and everything else like that. So we cover things like wrestling, sports, games, movies, music. Pretty much
lifestyle,
well-rounded. That's all I gotta say.
Lifestyle,
and LA is the epicenter right now. Even though I'm from DC, like I said, we got nothing on LA on all fronts. I'm just going to call it what it is. Kendrick is the unifier. That's all I have to say.
That man brings everybody together, clearly. You know what I'm saying? Gang members, children, cripples, everybody. Everybody come together for Kendrick Lamar, man.
Blue, red, purple, gold, you name it, man.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Man, we got Vaughn in the building, King Vaughn in the building. Chad, what we doing?
Let's go right into Prepped and Cooked, y'all. We got a lot of topics on the docket, but we're going to start with Prepped and Cooked. Y'all know this is our weekly segment here at the RSC. Prepped and Cooked means we have a wrestler that is on the trajectory of a downfall. Cooked is the wrestler that is already at that downfall. Prepped this week, Claudio Castagnoli. Step on up, buddy. You are prepped. Saved you from a cooked because I kind of got some hope that Claudio could possibly save his AEW tenure by possibly leaving the Blackpool Combat Club. If we've seen how things went when he took a much unnecessary loss to Pac this past week on Dynamite. Pac needed that win, but boy, oh boy, did Claudio need that win much more. Pac finally got a win that matters, and Claudio got a loss that is just another L in his loss column. Wasn't too thrilled about that with Danielson on commentary. I don't know where Claudio goes from here. I just can't call it. And that's why I said prep instead of cooked, because I think he can savor himself by unfortunately aligning with the Don Callis family. Not too thrilled about that. I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out there. Fellas, what say you?
Vaughn, what you got?
All right, so prep.
You can agree or disagree.
Yeah. So prep, I might have to put Claudio in that category as well. I think they've been prepped for quite a while, quite some time. To be honest with you, especially when it came to those allegations of not having charisma, things like that. But like I said, I'll say him. But as far as cooked,
we didn't get to cook yet. We're just gonna stick on prep right now.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'm staying on prep. So, at least he's getting prepared. So and him as well as probably Meechin at this point.
You think Meechin is cooked? Is prepped?
I wouldn't say that she's prepped yet. Like she's been taking some L's, but
name me the last time Meechin won a match.
With the utmost respect, I'm thinking that NXT will be the best chance of getting off that prepped trajectory.
All right.
So those are my preps.
Hey, who you got?
Yo, first and foremost,
peace
to my man.
Who you got? Peace to Scott.
Yeah. Peace to my man Skyland. Skyland put a book out that I have in my other room. I should have had it prepped. No pun intended, but it's called Your Love is Necessary, man. Make sure y'all pick that up.
Dope book.
Yeah, pick that up, man.
Dope cover.
Catch that on the Amazon near you. So peace to my man Scotland. Peace to everybody over at the Black Guy Wrestling Pod. Dub. So for starters, I don't think that Claudio needed that win more than Pac. I think it's in reverse. I think Pac absolutely needed that win because we haven't really seen anything from Pac. He's been injured. He came back. He had a lot of conversation about him getting back into the swing of things, him needing to pick up wins, and he lost those matches. So now, when he's out here wondering, am I still the bastard or am I a bitch now? I think he absolutely needs to pick that win up.
It was tough. It was tough because I actually was like, they both needed a win. Like very bad. So the fact they had to face each other, I was like, this sucks.
Nah, I think that's great. I think it's the complete opposite because when there's two people that not to go too far ahead, but Swerve and Will, the argument about this could go this way or this can go that way, there are endless possibilities, which is dope because you really don't know. There's nothing guaranteed. Same thing right here with Pac and Claudio. Both of them are in need of a win. So fuck it. Somebody has to lose. That's dope. That then puts the other person in position to figure some shit out. Now, as far as Claudio going, I think he's close to prep. I'm not gonna throw him in that pile yet, but I think he's
Okay.
really, really close to prepped. And the reason is like, what exactly happens? He shot Brian a look at the table at the
He
end of that
did.
match. You
He
know
was
what I mean?
tight.
He
Mans
shot
is
Brian a
tight,
look.
son.
So I
Yeah.
think there could be some fallout with the BCC, whether the BCC gets rid of Brian or Claudio decides to leave the BCC. I think there's some tension right there. So I'm not going to say he's prepped yet, but he needs to make the right decision.
All right. That's solid. That's solid. We'll take that. And cooked for me this week, fellas. Meechin, come on down. I can't find a time that you want a match on any time that I've watched WWE programming, TNA programming even. Shit, don't go back to that. Mia Yim, Meechin, she's fried. She's done. She's cooked. Name me a time she's won a match. Anyone. Next. Vaughn, Ayo, what you got? I can't even. There's nothing else I could say. It's just like I just anytime I see Meechin, I just know auto L. So it's like she's cooked
by default, probably even on universe mode. Cooked, I would say this one has been cooked for a while, if not grilled all together. Chris Jericho.
Yo, chill, man. Relax.
No offense.
Relax, man.
No offense.
This is learning tree faction over here, man.
Oh, okay.
Learning tree gang.
All right then. So the learning tree. Excuse me.
I'm a learning tree guy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, reason why. All right then. So I was thinking. All right, I was going to say him. I was also thinking about Edge as well. Because do they really need the wins that they've been getting? And so like I said, as far as Jericho, he's an all-time great. Don't get me wrong. Future first, if there was a ballot, first ballot, second ballot.
But how is Copeland cooked if he hasn't even been featured? He's injured. He's on injury reserve right now.
He's injured. Yeah,
he's injured. So it's like technically he can't be cooked because he ain't around.
Yeah, he ain't even around. Yeah, he's out. But yeah, like I said, as far as cooked, I think just in terms of your trajectory as far as your career right now, like I said, Jericho's got another surge with the learn tree.
I gotta fight you on that, son, because Jericho got a faction in the FTW title. At
the same time, I feel like this though. I feel like this. It's just like Jericho has won like 1,000 different titles. It's like, what else? Like, how else is this sort of guy like? Unless like whoever beats him, is gonna make a bigger deal for them. But at this point, how much more of a W over Jericho is?
I'll give you this: Jericho is single-handedly bringing Brian Keith to relevancy.
So my Cowboy Brian Keith.
Yes, he's made Brian Keith more entertaining in 3 weeks than Brian Keith has had since his entire time in AEW. When I got torched on Twitter for saying, "Good luck, Brian Keith. We'll see how this turns out."
I mean, well, I guess Brian Keith had to start somewhere. But I mean, hey, whatever. It's better than nothing, to be honest with you. It's just like, at least you got to have somebody that's, somebody. Jericho's a legend. Don't get me wrong. And so, for someone work for someone like Brian Keith. But in terms of Jericho's trajectory, in terms of like, where he is now compared to some of his, better years and things like that. Like I said, no offense to all the Jerichoholics out there.
No Jericho.
Yeah, so like I said, Jericho's an all-time great. I got him in my top 15 on my all-time greatest list. But but it's just like at this stage of the game, I feel like this. I kind of for people that felt some type of way about Undertaker being around for like a super long time. What's the difference? At this point, other than Jericho's more on there more than just like like once a month or once a year or whatever. Compared to Taker's schedule, but it's just like I said, in terms like I couldn't really think of anybody else that I could say was cooked. I didn't want to.
It's only one name. We only rocking with one name. One name, and that's it. You stick
Jericho,
with Jericho, and that's it. Hey, yo, who you got?
without even Chris.
Look, I have no argument.
Agree, disagree?
I have nothing to add to the Michin conversation. Like, clearly, she's in that position where she's in the position of she's in a natty position as far as I'm concerned.
Nasty,
You know
natty
what I mean?
position.
Where creatively there's nothing there, but she's not there for creative purposes. She's there because she's a veteran that can work with the younger talent. So creatively, out of here, completely cooked, done, nothing to actually talk about.
You know what? As I think about it, would you put Natty in cooked?
Been
Bro,
cooked. Hall of Fame.
we have
cooked.
Hall of Fame cooked. Like there's certain names in this segment that we do weekly.
It's not even worth bringing up at a certain point. You know what I mean?
Like
and like let's be clear. Like this, the prep and the cooked is, does creative have anything interesting for you to do? You know what I mean? And are you on the trajectory over the past week of what Chad? You know, Chad brings these names up from the last time we had an episode until today. What are you doing creatively? Right? Michin is in a position. The last time we saw her doing something, the PLE, right? The NXT PLE. She was in that 6-woman ladder match, basically to hold it down as being the most experienced person in that match, right? Nobody went into that saying, damn, I really think Michin has a shot to win it, because creatively nothing was going in that direction. So I have nothing to add to the Michin conversation because I think she's in the Natty conversation. I don't think Natty has anything going on creatively that we're ever going to be like, damn, I think she has a shot to do something big. And I think Michin is in that position right now.
You know what? Real quick, I'm going to interrupt her, like stop anything. But the thing, I thought about it. Now that you mentioned it, I'm going to have to swap the Jericho out of cooked and swap him out for Natty. So now that you explained it the way that you did.
But what has Natty done this week even to be mentioned in this segment at this point?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Natty is, that's what I'm saying. Like Natty, at a certain point, it's not even worth bringing up some of these names.
Brian Cage, Pentagon, Natty. Like there's certain names that we've mentioned on a weekly basis where it's like I'm trying to find new names out of the results where I'm like, who is cooked this week? Like
the best way to even explain it another level is like, this is creative purgatory. You know what I mean? Somebody is just going in circles.
She's beyond cooked. She's roasted right now.
She's Hall of Fame. It's done. It's over. We're scraping the plate at this point. I mean, but Michin 100%.
Yeah, I have to go with Natty. I'm swap. With all due respect, I'm swapping Jericho out for Natty since you explained it. So
fair enough.
Champions Watch, the former RSC Predictions heavyweight champion himself.
Yo, my man, you need to change that title on your screen, brother.
I said it's former. It says former.
Oh, it does say former? Oh, okay.
It says former RSC Predictions heavyweight champion, man. I ain't wasting no time, champ. You got it. You got it, King. You know what I'm saying? Champions Watch is what we do weekly, y'all. We pick a champion every week, and then we go down their trajectory. Whether we're highlighting it, whether the good, the bad, the ugly, what's to come. This week, I'm going to Mustafa Ali, the X Division champion of TNA. He just beat Trent Seven at Against All Odds to retain his belt. Mustafa Ali is having a hell of a reign as X Division champion. I think he's going to have one of the best reigns as X Division champion in quite a few years. I don't think he loses the belt anytime soon. You could honestly put anybody against Mustafa Ali right now, and I would just believe Mustafa Ali and his secret security to defeat them, like with ease. Like I don't see Mustafa losing the belt anytime soon. There's a plethora of guys in the X Division that could compete, but I just don't see them dethroning Mustafa Ali anytime soon, even with a crossover to NXT. If he brings the X Division title to NXT, I don't think he even loses the belt anywhere over there. I think it would just be a dope look to have on NXT television. So I'm going Mustafa Ali for my champion of the week. Fellas, what say y'all? Y'all can agree, disagree, and then drop y'all champions.
I'm going with Sami Zayn, Intercontinental Champion over there.
Super surprised, bro. We all lost that on the predictions for last week.
That's why I'm going with it.
We all said Gable. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why I'm going with Sami Zayn as my champion of the week, because I 100% thought that Chad Gable was going into Clash at the Castle and walking out with that Intercontinental Championship. And I said, like, regardless, Chad Gable or not, I didn't think that Sami Zayn was pegged to have a long reign to begin with, because I think the money is always in the chase with Sami Zayn. You know what I mean? And that was a surprising win. You know, that was a very surprising win to me. So nothing much to really be said other than that, man. He went in there, got the job done. Sami Zayn still an IC champ.
Sidebar, that match pissed me off. Tremendously pissed me off with the referee, the Gable looking over his shoulder, waiting for it, like Sammy to make a move, the fucking lack of a 10 count while Sammy's outside. I was like, what's going on here with this match right now?
No, it was horrible. That
That
was
was
absolutely
insane.
horrible. That's like definition of overbooked.
Yes.
You're doing
Yes.
way too much.
Way too much shit was going on in that match to where I was like, yo, dog, the referee's not even counting, but the camera's right here. And Sammy's just chilling on the post like, whew, man. 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm like, yo, dog, what's the referee doing right now? Like,
no good.
It was crazy to me. So that was my only real gripe with that match. I'm very surprised he retained. I think we all are. We all really thought that Gable was going to win. I don't know if that's going to happen now with this Wyatt 6 thing happening, but we'll speak more on this as the show goes on. Vaughn, who you got? Who's your champion watch?
Champion watch. I want to go with, since you mentioned, I was thinking about Cody as the WWE champion just because of the AJ Styles, and you have Randy Orton with his eyes.
Okay.
His eyes on on that title pretty soon. And if you look at the little Easter egg, you can definitely tell, especially with Orton being a Viper, you can never
But how do we get to that story now? How do we get to Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes potentially at SummerSlam while we still have Money in the Bank, Bloodline, Kevin Owens, faction warfare? How do we get to Randy Orton versus Cody outside of a quick clip of Randy Orton just staring at the belt like?
Yeah. All right. So can anybody hear me right now?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. Cool. So as far as that, I think that there is, like I said, that there's there's certainly gonna, like, I don't know how they're gonna like tie things in together like that, but but the thing about it is that, of course, especially since Cody finished his story, and you look at, like, by nature, by default, when it comes to, they already have a built-in story anyway when it came to the whole legacy thing and whatnot. And so I would say that that eventually, after this whole bloodline warfare stuff, they're done with that. Like I said, when Cody least expected, then we all know, with the way, Viper, being the Viper that he is gonna find a way to turn the tables. Like my initial pick as far as champion, was initially going to be Trick Williams as NXT champion, but I think there's probably more layers to, as far as Cody's, as far as a WWE championship. Initially I actually wanted Roman to keep the belt at WrestleMania, full disclosure, but you knew that wasn't going to happen. So, but I would say, in terms, I guess because of Cody's impact as a champion thus far compared to, let's say where Trick is or something like that. So I think that's why I went with him. As my ultimate choice as far as like the champion to really have your eyes out for, more so than, let's say, Priest as the world champion. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why. So like I said, there are definitely several layers that they're going to get into. Like I said, eventually it's going to lead into Cody versus Orton. And so it's definitely going to be like one of the biggest win that Cody's going to have post Roman.
Okay.
Cody in the building. Champions watch, man. It's the RSC.
WWE Clash at the Castle. Fellas, what are we giving this pay-per-view, y'all? We all gonna go around the circle, around the rings, and give one high, one low for the pay-per-view as our recap. Hey, yo, I'll let you start. Champion's advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna run down exactly with 5 matches, so this will be really quick. This is what the Clash at the Castle card was. Cody Rhodes beat AJ Styles in an I Quit match to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, surprise of the night for me, won that triple threat tag match to become the brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Sami Zayn, surprising to me at least, retained his Intercontinental title by defeating Chad Gable. Bayley beat Piper Niven, surprise to nobody, to retain the WWE Women's Championship. And Damian Priest defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Listen, man, my highlight was CM Punk coming out and screwing Drew McIntyre. Basically, that reminds me of the old Shane McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin double bird at I believe that was Survivor Series '98, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That just makes me want. But I didn't think that Drew was going to win the title before CM Punk was ready to come back because that's the money feud. You don't need the title for that yet. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if there is an actual. Did Punk is coming on Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, right? So he's going to announce what his health prognosis is and all of that. And at
I think
some
he's going to
point,
be a Money in the Bank. The funny part is he said he hates ladder matches, but I think he's going to be a Money in the Bank. And that's where Drew screws him.
He'll Ricky Starks it. Ricky Starks hates ladder matches too, and he's climbed that shit like once. You know what I'm saying? He climbed it once. But yeah, like that's the money. You know what I mean? That's the money as far as Drew McIntyre and not only that, man. Damian Priest like avoiding major injury after getting caught in the ropes the way that he did.
Oh my gosh.
That's like highlight 1A to me because I thought he was out of here. The way that he was hung upside down for about a solid minute. You know what I mean? And work or not, he definitely sold that limp.
He did.
But yeah, like I just really, the angle with CM Punk jumping in. Now again, it doesn't do the reputation of WWE refereeing or officials or, anybody in charge any favors. It's stupid shit. And I thought the most logical my real highlight was Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett on commentary, because he's the only person that's speaking with any logic and intelligence at all.
Easily.
I do. I'd have to.
You know what I mean?
So
yeah, Wade Barrett on commentary, Wade Barrett on the panel is my highlight.
I'm gonna say my highlight for the night would probably be the Drew and Damian. I said Drew and Damian. Yes, Drew and Damian match. I think that was really better than anticipated, better than expected. I think they delivered in a main event setting. Damian Priest needed that win. He needed that main event match. I couldn't take Cody and AJ because it was just too much like fluff. I think the ending was way too contrived. There's a lot going on with that ending. The handcuff, the fucking slapping of the water, the chair. I was just like, yo, dog, pack this fucking match up, man.
Yeah.
Like, just pack this shit up already. I will say with Damian Priest, though, I just don't feel like he is that believable of a main event champion just yet. Y'all can agree or disagree with me with that one, but at this point, I'm measuring champions to, can you battle Steve Austin? I could see Drew McIntyre battling Steve Austin. CM Punk could battle Steve Austin. Cody could battle Steve Austin.
Yeah.
When I look at
like
Damian
when you put that person in, who to me, I've heard a lot of people say this. Randy Orton is the measuring stick, right? If you place somebody in the ring across from Randy Orton or stand him next to Randy Orton, how do they match up? Even if they're supposed to be on the same side, does that person feel like they're like little bro, or do they feel on even playing field with Randy Orton? And I get that about Damian Priest. That's a good point.
Like, he just doesn't.
He's a step below. Like, he's getting there.
He's getting there. He's definitely getting there. But I just don't feel like
this is that argument of, does the person make the title or does the title make the person? And this is a situation where the title is still above where Damian Priest is.
Crazy to say, because Son really, you know what I mean? He was the Archer Infamy, U.S. champion, had the girls in a hot tub. Like, my man was on a run. You know what I'm saying? And now the Judgment Day went from like the imaginary spooky shit to just like guys hanging out in the fucking clubhouse. So it's like he wants to get away from that, but he's also the champion. But then I looked at the match and I was like, yo, this match is really good. But when I think about the Attitude Era and I think about Steve Austin, I just think Austin would stunner Damian Priest one time. All it take with one stunner and he's out of here. Like, it's done. Like, this wouldn't even be Damian Priest kicks out of a stunner. It's like, nah, he's done. One stunner, it's over.
Damian Priest is like Kane level. You know what I mean? Where Kane was kind of always in the mix, but Kane was like never the guy. He was right there. So I think Damian Priest is probably at that Kane level.
My low point would probably be. Hey, you gave me a low point?
Yes.
Dog, like did
you have one?
There's a list. So fuck it. What's the point?
All right. So my low point for the pay-per-view would probably be Alba and Dalba winning the tag titles from Coco Combat Club. I was just like mind blown.
The Cocoa Butter Combat Club.
I was
man.
blown that they lost the belts. Granted, this is people's excuse to be like, yo, hometown. This isn't a sympathy badge for Alba and her family situation. This is a way to get the belts off of Bianca and Jade without having them take the pin. But I'm also like, but why? Like, to women who haven't even been featured in a year?
Right.
Huh? What in the All Elite Wrestling the fuck is going on here right now?
Yeah.
Like, this is wild to me. Like, that took me out of that match. Just the fact that they lost the belts after having no real memorable title defenses, no real memorable moments with the belts when we all were like, yo, they about to have a year. Motherfucker said a year-long reign, and they're going to split up and have the one-on-one match at WrestleMania, and it's like, nah, they're going to expedite that shit for SummerSlam. Like, huh?
Man.
I was blown.
Terrible.
Why do you think they made that decision?
Home country shit for Alba and Dalba.
And also for Alba's mom.
Yeah, like Triple H would say it wasn't, but you could have just had Jade hit a Jaded on Shayna Baszler or Zoe Starks and just take this to Raw and have them have a one-on-one match where they still beat Alba and Dalba, but they have a one-on-one match on Raw.
Right.
And continue on throughout the summer.
Yeah.
So, like, now we're just in a confusion of, well, where do Bianca and Jade go from here? Do they just feud with each other for the whole summer? And it's like, no one asked for this. Why is this happening?
What if it's like a 1 week turnaround where Friday there's a rematch and they win the title's back?
Yo, fam, I couldn't even tell you the last time I seen a rematch for a title, yo, outside of the WWE title.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what?
No, I hear you.
I don't. Maybe they don't have a long title reign. Maybe it was just for the hometown pop, specifically because you had 2 other matches featuring hometown people or home country people at least, and neither of them won.
We're gonna win, correct?
And also
maybe
it's a quick turnaround.
I just don't know. I can't recall whenever the rematch clause gets invoked in WWE anymore. So it's like I don't even like believe that could happen. You know
it could be that. Maybe not an instant rematch. Maybe there's some, the pool in the tag team division isn't super deep, so maybe it's like you're still pretty close to being number 1 contenders. Win this match, and the next week on SmackDown you get a match. You know what I mean?
They were the best tag team.
I'm very very curious. No, that's the thing. And what I think this does is if you keep Isla Dawn and Alba Fire around for a little bit, with or without the titles, at least this adds a little bit more depth because you have some people that are active. You know what I mean? If they just lose the title and then go away for another year, then this was completely for nothing. You know?
Scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Alba and Dalba versus Shayna and Zoe?
1.
Hey, yo.
I don't know. Let's see what it does. There's no way to rate that shit.
You're not excited? You're looking forward to it at least?
I'm looking forward to seeing what the fuck is the plan for them. You know,
right.
Is this supposed to be a reign where I'm supposed to buy into them? Are you trying to rebuild Shayna, and Zoe? So, like, looking forward to the match for the sake of the match, but what is the plan here is kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing.
So fun. Right. Highs and lows. Who you got? What you got?
All right, good. All right, so as far as my highs was was the Drew versus Damian match, especially with CM Punk being the MVP of that match. As far as cause of chaos, getting that referee shirt, showing the video backstage.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
That was CM Kendrick right there. You know what I mean? I was like, that was perfect. That was definitely the biggest part of that match overall. The low, I think we all have the same one in common. Yeah, the women's tag match, as far as Bianca and Jade having their title run in prematurely like that, especially when there's so much more steam, in them as a tag team. And also the thing about it is that I get it, like on one end, they want to do it out of sympathy because they didn't want anybody from Scotland walking away without a title, whatever. But even though Drew's lost twice in Scotland, but still, like that was clearly a sympathy win. And but at the same time, it's just like in the long run, what does it do? Like absolutely nothing, because they've only barely been featured on WWE TV like a month or so. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Jade's been so highly invested within WWE. I mean, her and Bianca really had like some type of Game of Thrones Road Warriors looking cosplay thing, whatever.
They tried it.
They tried it. Like there was even like Bianca had the color scheme of Storm from X-Men '97. Jade looked like Daenerys. You know what I mean? I guess Bianca was supposed to be Dracarys, with the hair or whatever. But also another thing is real quick, as far as like that low, what's even lower than that is the criticism, the backlash that Jade's been getting online. As far as the botch, you know what I mean? Like especially with her accidentally tapping out without the referee looking, and also with her landing, missing that splash or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a faulty rope, and so I don't like I said, I don't appreciate just the constant barrage, of backlash and criticism that Jay's been getting from the IWC. So that's what makes that situation even low.
And what you got for a low? That's your low?
That was my low right there.
That's your low? All right. I mean, shit, there was so much in the pay-per-view that I was just like, I wasn't really thrilled about it. That it kind of all majority felt like a low. For some reason, this PLE didn't hit quite like the others did this past previous year.
I think like creatively, some of the outcomes are one thing, but the way that they got to a lot of those outcomes were just
the referees for me were like AEW levels of stupid, and I really didn't like it.
But this is what I'm saying. You said that I don't know how many episodes ago, and I said you can highlight any referee in any promotion, and they're all fucking idiots. So I don't think it's not an AEW thing or a WWE thing. It's a pro wrestling needs to move on from doing stupid referee booking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just dumb. When you have a huge screen that's big enough so that everybody in the arena can see, and the referee is facing that direction, and there's some shit going on the outside that's shown on that screen, and the referee is supposed to play dumb,
and the crowd is literally like, yo, dog.
Yeah, so now look, what you're doing is the credibility of the ref goes out the window. The credibility of the commentary team, who has to kind of commentate around that goes out of the window. The wrestlers look dumb because like it's just, let's move on from doing this. Like, watch UFC. You have referees a lot of times that are trained in whatever mixed martial art. They look like they do at least 10 push-ups a day. They're not dumb. Let's kind of be creative here. You have creative teams, be creative.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Disheartening. They're very disheartening with some of the turnout for the pay-per-view. Overall, I give it like a 3 out of 5. I can't even give it 10 because it was such a short card. So I'd say 3 out of 5. You know what I'm saying? Live crowd was great. The overseas crowd is always rocking. They're always a highlight, but I just think creative really didn't do it for me with this pay-per-view, this PLE. And we've got Toronto coming up next with Money in the Bank. So that should be cool.
Yo, sidebar, I love the graphics and the design.
I mean, WWE graphics always kick ass.
No. Just specifically for Money in the Bank, like the little spy and the briefcase and all that. I thought that shit was really cool. The music was really dope. Like I hope, and I don't have any faith in it, but I really hope that is indicative of what the set's going to look like. I miss those custom sets. Like if they do something with that colorway. I do miss the
custom sets.
Yeah, I think they could have some fun with that. Yeah.
Next up, fellas, Shane O'Mac could be all elite. How we feel about this?
I saw this floating around a little bit. What was the context? I saw that he was talking to AEW wrestlers about possibly joining. Did it
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross said that? Was it to be behind the scenes or on camera?
That's undisclosed, but Jim Ross said, I've been texting Shane, and, Shane's curious, and Shane's been texting other AEW wrestlers and saying he's curious, and the speculation right now is Shane O'Mac being all elite isn't as far-fetched as we all might believe it to be. Now, I'm not going to say that he will be. That's all dirt sheet shit. But in the event that he could be all elite, how do we feel about it?
Stay off the camera.
Straight up.
I'm excited. I'm all for Shane O'Mac being all elite. I'm going to go be the outlier here.
Stay off the camera. Do you remember the last time Shane McMahon was on television? Was it good?
No.
He broke his quad against The Miz in 30 seconds.
Cool. What about the time before that? Was it good?
He jumped off of Hell in a Cell or something, I think. No?
That was good? Nothing about Shane McMahon on television in the last 5 years, 10 years has been good.
No.
Aside from the initial pop that he got when he returned. Right. So We don't need nostalgia pops.
And,
For the credibility, the namesake, the talk, the people just saying, "Holy shit, Shane McMahon is in AEW." Here comes the money on Dynamite.
You need to not book for pops. You need to book for shit that makes
Yo,
sense.
Shane McMahon, greater sign, Jack Perry. All right, I'm here
No,
for Shane
absolutely.
McMahon
I
being all
disagree.
elite.
not at all.
I
Jack
disagree
Perry
wholeheartedly.
is the size of the fucking fan in my room. Ayo, you could clothesline Jack Perry right now if you wanted to.
Jack Perry is no
is
smaller than most of the people that are wrestling
Jack
right now on
Perry is to the
television.
right and to the left of you. You see what's on the right side of you, where that microphone is? You see that card blade, Jay White? That's Jack Perry. And you see what's on the other side of you? That stick thing that's hanging? That's Jack Perry.
Oh
So
God.
to me, none of that is enticing. Shane McMahon is way more enticing of a name, a brand,
Shane
entity.
McMahon should not be on television. If
Not
he's
at all.
joining AEW, it should be to do shit behind the scenes that we don't know about.
He could do both. Why not do both?
No. He's
Do
not
both.
good. He's not good.
He could be
He's
the
washed.
fucking general manager that AEW
Chad,
needs, because Christopher
what is
Daniels
Shane McMahon's highlight on the past 10 years that makes you want to
Falling
see him
off
on
shit.
TV?
falling off shit, holding his own on the mic, his entrance song, the dance.
Holding his own on the mic, he's horrible on the mic.
Yo, at least he can talk. He can
No,
talk
he
better than
can't
Jack
talk.
Perry.
No,
He can talk better than half these jabronis on AEW.
Other than that,
you're actually actively wrong.
Yo, Shane McMahon has more credibility than majority of the guys in AEW. And I hate to sound like Vince
Actively
Russo.
wrong. Like
But
actively wrong.
Other than Chris Jericho, outside of him,
Yo, Shane
Bryan.
O'Mac being all elite is best for business.
Honestly, I like I said, I don't know if it's my turn or whatever, but the thing about it
Go
is
for it.
Okay, cool. All right, let me say it like this. That is a further sign that the McMahon name has become obsolete because of the fact that I cannot. I mean, even though Shane has done other things outside WWE, but the thing is, for a McMahon name to not be synonymous with WWE anymore, that just lets me know, like, you know, that name has been.
That in itself would draw the ratings that AEW needs.
Like I said,
a McMahon is in AEW.
Like that,
Yo, dog, the story writes itself. Are y'all kidding me?
That is like Bizarro World. You mean that's
Yes.
That's another
That
universe. That's
is greater sign better than watching the Elite challenge a bunch of fucking baby faces that they've already beaten to another gimmick match that they've already won.
That feels like we're on Earth -2 at this point. If there's a McMahon in AEW, that's goes to show how much their name has been disgraced in WWE. You know,
it could just be Shane O'Mac. It don't got to be Shane McMahon. It could just be Shane O'Mac. Who's all elite.
But still, just like the optics of it, it's just like
it's so sick that I love it. I'm like, I love this shit. Like, this is that drama that I really think would spike for AEW that they could really use. Fuck giving me Zooxies and the no-brand, no-name motherfuckers from Mexico and this fucking Japanese shit. Give me Shane McMahon right here on my program. He don't gotta be an active wrestler. I'm with you, Ayo. I'm like, he don't gotta be putting on classics. Bang. I'm not asking that for Shane-O. But you know what? He's better than Christopher Daniels, who sounds like a fucking lifeguard saying, all right, guys, get out the ring. Get out the ring. Next match. Come on. We can't have a match because there's too many matches going on. It's like, yo, dog.
That nostalgia is strong because
it is.
If Shane McMahon was still active on WWE TV right now, you would be in real time realizing that he's not good and hasn't been good.
Yeah. Nostalgia is a powerful drug. That's all I got.
Shane McMahon was good in 1990 something.
99.
Like the entire time since he came back and they were doing, and Stephanie was still active, he hasn't been good. Other than he has this match and he gets thrown off of shit. So when you take the match part of it out of it, which that is even arguable of whether it's good or not, him on the microphone isn't good. I don't give a shit what his last name is.
But Shane at least has credibility and he wants to actually see shit progress.
In what way? What's the credibility that Shane McMahon
other than his last name?
Shane wants to see shit progress. At least he wants to see shit progress.
You know what? I'm gonna say it like this. Because one of the only few highlights that Shane has had recently, you know, like within a time span only thing I can think of right now lately was that WrestleMania 32 Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker. But Shane was only there put in as a backup because of the fact that Sting had got injured at the time and he couldn't be cleared, so he had to retire. And so and the thing about it is, it's just like it was what it was. It wasn't really, like I said, wasn't really on my bingo card for Undertaker WrestleMania matches. So it was, I looked at it, I was like, all right, whatever. Like it wasn't number
Shane
one.
Miz, Shane AJ, Shane Undertaker. I'm not saying they was bangers or they had to be 5 stars. They fucking Meltzer top ratings, but they were entertaining. As an entertainment company, they were entertaining.
Shane versus Undertaker was like one of these things is not like the other on Sesame Street. Like it was like, it's like, you know what? We I don't have the All NBA first team right now, or even the All NBA second team. Might as well go with the All NBA with the third team at this point. That's really hot.
I ain't saying I need Shane O'Mac versus Swerve for the AEW World Title. Don't get it fucked up. I'm not saying Swerve's gonna main event fucking Dynamite every week, but like for entertainment value and purposes, like nothing's popping the ratings for AEW quite like this type of news to happen.
And maybe this is where we differ, but I don't find anything about Shane McMahon entertaining. So that's why I don't want to see it.
And he's Shane.
Fuck out of here. I don't want to see any of that shit.
That right there is what's entertaining.
Shane McMahon goes to AEW for any reason, go in the back, being a guy that's been in the business as long as he had. Maybe he has a creative idea or two. Do that shit.
Tony, he ain't fucking relinquishing nothing to a McMahon, man.
I ain't say relinquishing. I said if he has a creative idea or two, do that. Pitch some ideas.
I'm here for the creative shit.
Get in the marketing side of things and do that shit. I don't care what you do. If Shane McMahon goes to AEW, to see him on TV, bro, like you really don't remember how much he can't talk, which is it's funny to me.
Out of everybody in that family, his mic skills are.
He was great back in '99 when he came back. It was as good as he was back then. That's why it was as surprising as it was that he was that bad.
He gave us Raw Underground.
All right, next. What are we doing next, chat?
Anyway,
come on, man.
Next? Gave us Raw Underground.
Dynamite Underground?
Yeah, no doubt. It lasted a month.
It actually came back for the whole pay-per-view, y'all.
Yeah, no doubt.
All of Ice, Shayna Baszler.
Oh, word.
The only thing we got out of it was Omos's debut. His first
That's
appearance.
crazy. Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so speaking of Shane O'Mac.
Fuck out of here. I don't see that shit.
Speaking of Shane O'Mac, who killed WCW on Vice? Perfect segue. I like that.
Oh, what a time. What a series.
Yo, one of my favorite series on Vice, Dark Side of the Ring, has given us multiple parts of Who Killed WCW. If y'all ain't tapped in, y'all should really give it a watch. I know some of y'all are probably sick of hearing the WCW story, but it's dope to see 60-year-old men hold themselves completely unaccountable for the actions that they've displayed.
Nobody's raising their hand at all.
Nobody.
Everybody is just like Spider-Man meme every episode about why this company is over. I mean, honestly, Kevin Nash is probably the most thorough person on that whole program. That's like, yo.
And Conan.
Yes. And I fuck with them too. Conan and Kevin Nash are the only two people that are like, I can name 2 specific moments when this company died. The blood and the finger poke of doom. Put them together, and that was what killed WCW. And I was like, you're right. That actually might have been the ones that fucking fried that company.
I don't know, man. I think like this conversation has always revolved around like trying to blame somebody or trying to blame a moment, whether it be the finger poke of doom, whether it be the cattle prod that caused Goldberg to lose the match. There's so many people at blame, right? And I look at it from this point of view. Pro wrestling is not a sport. Pro wrestling is an art. You can look at these wrestling companies the same way you would look at a label, a Def Jam or whatever. And if you have bad creative that then pisses the fans off that they stop paying money and they stop coming to the shows and not buying tickets and not buying merch, then the conversation dwindles down. We're not even talking about it with the same enthusiasm as before. That's what killed it. So when you look at who was in charge, there was a booking committee and a lot of people in charge. But the reality is, And there was a period that they glossed over. I was listening to another podcast earlier where they said, yeah, these episodes are great and all, but what they completely glossed over is that the ratings were still up and somewhat respectable even after all of that shit that you were talking about, but before Vince Russo got there. And Eric Bischoff was at the helm, and dumbass decisions were continuously made, and his relationship with Hulk Hogan completely compromised the entire roster because nobody was ever going to be able to get anything dope kind of passed because Hulk Hogan had creative control. And Hulk Hogan revolves around the world title. So the bottom line is, if you ever want to point the finger and blame at any one particular person, which I don't want to do, but the person who shoulders a whole hell of a lot of that blame is really two people. It's Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan had Eric Bischoff wrapped around his finger. Do what the fuck I tell you to do, jump. Ask me how high when I tell you to jump. And Eric Bischoff was doing that shit. You can't get anything done.
Yeah.
By the time Vince Russo got around, it was already over.
Yeah.
I can only attest to my WCW real-time knowledge from 2000, right? Like, I am a Filthy Animals WCW guy, right? So, like, that's really when I tapped into wrestling full-time was 2000. Like, literally, Royal Rumble, Triple H, Cactus Jack, and then that went on. So, I can only really tell you about the Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett era per se to a point. But after watching this documentary and doing my research, yo, fam, I've never seen a world title be vacated more times in a year than WCW in the year 2000. I think it fucked me up the amount of times that I seen in that documentary, and new world heavyweight champion, this guy, then he vacates the belt. I was genuinely fucked up. Like, I'm going to start right here. It started the year with the belt being vacated because Bret Hart was injured. Chris Benoit won for a day and it was gone. Then it was vacated. Sid Vicious won, vacated. Kevin Nash.
What's this time frame right now? This is 99, right?
This is the year 2000, January. This is January.
Okay.
My nigga, this is January 2000. I just said 6 names. You understand?
Yeah.
Kevin Nash to Sid Vicious, vacated. Jeff Jarrett to Diamond Dallas Page. DDP to David Arquette, who won in a tag team match? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know
he
what
had
that
that
was about.
for a week.
He had that belt.
I never watched that.
He had that from April 25th to May 7th.
And also a big thing about Arquette that was also the year the Ready to
Rumble was coming out with the cage match and shit. Yes. I was enthralled with the cage. I really liked the cage concept. I thought the cages on top of each other was pretty dope. I just didn't know the backstory of how stupid all this shit actually was.
Yeah. So
David Arquette to Jeff Jarrett, Ric Flair won the belt for a week.
16th time.
I didn't know Ric Flair won the belt for a week. That fucked me up because I was like, when did Ric Flair win the belt? So Ric Flair won the belt, vacated.
The problem was you missed that episode.
Yeah, I think that was the episode where he beat Jeff Jarrett and Flair was just wearing street clothes, and that's where the 16th title came from.
Vacated. Jeff Jarrett wins the belt back. Kevin Nash wins. Ric Flair wins again.
I think that was 16 right there.
Jeff Jarrett wins again. Booker T wins.
Okay, so now what happened in February?
Right.
Yo, we're in July. Kevin and Booker T is the champion. Kevin Nash wins. Booker T wins it again. Vince Russo wins it from Booker T. It's vacated. Booker T wins. Scott Steiner wins. And then Booker T is the real technical final WCW champion by March 2001. That was the year 2000. That was the year I tapped in WCW like on some real shit. And I was
man.
What the fuck is going on with this division?
Sorry for your loss. Sorry for your first impression. Sorry that you had such a horrible
first impression. This is under the watch of Russo.
Yeah.
This is under the watch of Russo.
This is technically not all Russo, though. This is actually
not all.
But this ain't all Russo, actually.
This is part where Bischoff briefly came back in.
This is like
Bischoff came back. I think Kevin Sullivan was sprinkled in there.
This is minimal Kevin Sullivan, and then the interchangeable guys that Turner really was like, yo, can somebody hold it down? Because we don't got Bischoff or Russo here. So somebody just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come through and do what you got to do here. And then that's pretty much where the boys came together and was like, yo, can I win the belt this week? And they're like, fuck it. Pop a rating. Come on.
Hold it down.
Hold it down.
So, so like as far as that, I agree a lot with AO in terms of if you could pick a definitive, because I've seen the story of WCW like 1,000 different times, even before even before this latest documentary, and so of course like Kevin Nash is definitely gonna be very direct, but like I think definitively, if there were any other choice that you could really pinpoint to, specifically when it comes to Bischoff and Hogan, for all the same reasons that the AO gave is that Hogan, had
fuck Hulk Hogan, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, straight up, and everybody loved him. But anyway, also Juneteenth is also Beat Hogan Day.
Fuck Hulk Hogan Day,
yeah, absolutely, on WWE 2K24. I beat him with Rock, so like I said, every year you got to beat Hogan on Juneteenth. Long story short, back to that. Anyway, like I said, if there were any definitive culprits, I would certainly say Eric Bischoff and Hogan, because of the fact that if you look at how bad the WCW was in 1999, 2000, people want to point the finger at Vince Russo, but at the same time, who do you think put them in such a deep hole in the first place? Because of Bischoff, being a yes man to the NWO, to the point where he put himself in the group in the first place, and so also just the way that he sabotage as far as up becoming cruiserweights who wanted to be more involved in bigger storylines like Jericho and Ray, and just undermining what they could do. You know what I mean? So he just disregard the mid card and just focus on guys that were as we say prepped to just about cooked at that point with the NWO, and so he just dumped all those eggs into that basket, and gave them all those guaranteed contracts and things like that, to the point where to the point where they started to go under from a business standpoint, and also with the Time Warner merger and things like that. But initially, like I said, if outside of that, I would say that pretty much it's ultimately Bischoff and Toxic Terry, as I call him, Hogan. Because.
But Hogan wasn't around for a majority of the end of this shit. Like he was gone. He dipped. He was out.
He wasn't, but at the same time,
damage was already done.
The damage was already
done. But he was gone. Yeah. So you can't put a lot of that shit on Hogan that last stretch of the year. He was out.
But the thing about it is that leading up to that, there was too much damage that already been done from 98, 99, things like that. A lot too much damage had already been done from the Monday Night Wars, to the point where, like I said, with WWE was already lapping, ran laps over WCW in the Monday Night War and things like that. So by that point, like I said, by the time we get to 2000, the damage had already been done, and so as far as that, they already hit the iceberg, if you will, at that point. So, but at the same time, initially, the guy I could point to that really put them in such a tailspin was Bischoff, because because he wanted to be a yes man to Hogan and all those guys, and so because of that, he wasn't making the best business decisions. So here we are where we are.
I never really realized until this documentary where a lot of shit derived from. That's in the current or previous eras of wrestling that I grew up in. As I'm 32, so I only caught from the year 2000 on. So
right.
Seeing the Millionaires Club versus New Blood Rising, I was like, this is main event Mafia. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Versus Fortune. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, this is where it came from. This is what TNA did. The run-ins every single match with no ending. Oh, this is what AEW does. Got it. This makes mad sense now. It's just a bunch of fucking bullshit endings every match with run-ins on run-ins on run-ins on run-ins. This totally makes sense.
The NWO were the pioneers for that. So
my question for y'all would be on this topic, and we'll probably talk about this on some more episodes, because we still got the finale, I believe, which is the Vince McMahon, buying WCW episode coming up. If you could pick a wrestler in WCW and change their trajectory, who would it be, and what would you do? And for me, I'd probably take Bret Hart because I didn't know about Bret Hart's last hoorah in WCW. Like, I just didn't know until I watched this documentary, and I was like, yo, my man was like a 5-time U.S. champion, 3-time world champion, 5-time tag team champion, had 6 matches, came in and he had 6 matches and 8 title reigns. You understand what was going on? I was like, yo, what the fuck is happening? He wasn't used. He was just pretty much trotted out and was like, yo, Bret Hart's here. Fight, run in, and go home. So, I was blown at the fact that, yo, his career really did end on some bullshit off of a world title match and a bad kick. I didn't realize that. So, for me, I would take Bret Hart and I would change Bret Hart's trajectory for WCW for the better. And I would have took him right after the Montreal screw job. I would have literally had him come into the WCW and knock out whoever the fuck was the champion and the number 1 contender. And he would have been the big dog in the house of WCW at that time. It would have been a triple threat. Fuck Sting, Goldberg. Well, let me not say Goldberg. If it was Sting and Hogan at that time, it would have literally been Bret, Sting, Hogan, with Bret probably being the champion right out the gate. Nah, I'm Bret Hart. I'm here now, motherfucker. And I think that would have changed the trajectory of him being a badass in WCW as opposed to being a wayside guy who just came in, rang the bell, and got sent home and then won the U.S. title 5 times. What say y'all? Who you got? Ayo?
Man, that I'm a Bret guy, so Bret would have been my answer if you didn't say that, right? I wouldn't have rushed I would have waited on Bret. I would have signed him because I see your point to having him come in and immediately getting involved with Sting and with Hogan, but how hot Sting was, there's no way I'm cutting his reign short for anybody. The
Fair.
problem with that Sting match was it never should have involved anybody else. It should have been a clean victory. And again, we go back to the fuckery of Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? The stories that have been told from various people over the years about what really went down that day was supposed to be a clean victory, and Hulk Hogan comes in and it's not going to work for me, brother, and they make up some bullshit. You know what I mean? And then we get what we get. So trajectory-wise, first and foremost, creative, I have Sting pin Hogan clean the same way that Goldberg pinned Hogan. Done. No controversy, no nothing. We have a new champ, and we ride that out. And then let's say, 6 months, we have that dream match, Scorpion Deathlock versus the Sharpshooter. Bret Hart comes in as the guy we haven't seen.
6 months though? He literally said WCW in the air. It was inevitable.
So what? It's not that we don't know that he's signed. We just don't know when he's going to show up. And you're going to get that same pop.
I would have damn near had Bret show up on Nitro unannounced on some yo, I'm here. And then it's oh shit. Bret Hart's
I get
here?
you, but I just don't think you can hot shot and rush that Sting reign. You cut the legs out of Sting. Sting, that was a 1.5-year build. And if you immediately have somebody come in, I don't care who they are, and cut the legs on Sting's reign, then what was the purpose of that year-long build? You got the pop and you got the moment for him beating Hogan, but let's let this ride a bit. You have Sting kind of go through the NWO, and just when you think that you finally restored WCW back to its former glory pre-NWO, here comes Bret Hart. Whole new set of problem for Sting. But I have really 2 answers, maybe surprising to some, but Goldberg would be my first. Great 170 whatever the hell, and then the one he never would have. Right, he would have lost. Obviously, I think one thing I do agree with Kevin Nash as far as Goldberg's booking was at some point this shit is old.
Yes,
but the fact that from that moment on to the end of WCW, he was never again in the world title picture is insane to me. Because
that was kind of wild though.
That's insane.
I didn't realize that because even through the Russo and Bischoff alliance, the fake heel turn that clearly didn't work, I was just wow, this main event scene is fucking shot.
Yeah, it's just odd. It's just very, very odd to me how, as hot as that guy was, they never capitalized on it. Like, they never sustained that momentum, which was odd. So I would have, he loses the title. It wouldn't, I don't know if you can still, that's finger poke of doom shit was so stupid. That wouldn't have happened. I have him maybe feud with Nash for a little bit, you know what I mean, and win the title back. But Goldberg would have been still in the main event, if I'm booking it. And the other guy is Booker T. Booker T does not wait until WCW is irrelevant and a joke for him to win his first WCW World Championship. He came from the absolute bottom of that company, did everything you possibly can do as a tag guy, one of the
Agreed.
best tag teams of all time. The best of 7 series with Benoit was classic material. U.S. champ multiple times. Like, he did everything. TV champ. He did everything that you could possibly do. And it took, some fuck shit and Vince Russo coming in to actually, it took David Arquette to, kind of speak up and vouch a little bit for Booker T to actually get that look, which is insane to me. So Booker T would have been in the main event scene a whole hell of a lot longer, earlier than he actually was.
Yo, hey, like talking about this main event scene, like in watching the doc, like I looked at the lineage of the world title in WCW and like that belt was a fucking joke. Like, it really was a fucking joke. And like that's crazy that they treated like the best belt, the hierarchy of that company, like a fucking comedy prop.
Yeah.
Like, it really shows why that company died the way it did.
Exactly.
Like,
think about the quote that Vince Russo was saying. Again, I was listening to this pod, Voices of Wrestling, I was listening to. And Vince Russo really saw himself as a TV writer.
yes.
And that's cool. Pro wrestling is not TV. Pro wrestling is its own thing. If you are a booker or you're creative or you're the guy in charge of creative for a pro wrestling company, that is not like writing for any other movie, TV show, unscripted series. It's completely different. It's its own thing. So you're pissing off like the actual core fan base that watches wrestling to watch wrestling. Like, who is this mysterious, this fictional casual fan that you think wants to see this Jerry Springer bullshit?
Exactly.
Because it's entertainment. Who are these people? What actual studies have you done to actually, like, actual marketing now? What actual surveys have you done, right, on your audience that says, "Oh, I actually want this shit"?
Yeah, like some Dave Meltzer type of.
What's the actual data?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who are the professionals that you hired that brought you the data that says what you think is entertaining is actually getting people to tune in?
Right. Him and David Arquette being world champion in the same year was fucking mind-boggling. First,
it's insane. Insane.
Yeah. Like, we talked about, how you just kind of debunked like Sting, winning the world title and like Bret Hart coming in, and I would have put him right there in the fold. But you look at the title picture from Sting and Hogan in that time period of December 1997 at Starrcade. Sting won the belt. It was vacated on January 8th, and Sting won it back February 22nd, only for Randy Savage to win it, to lose the next day to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
To lose to Goldberg, who essentially had the belt most of the year of 98. To lose it to Kevin Nash, to lose it to Hogan, to Ric Flair, to DDP, in the revolving door of names as we got to that list of names I said in 2000. Like, I was like really astonished, like at this list of names that I saw hold the world title in the WCW era, and I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is really bad. Like, no wonder like this shit did not survive. Like, dogs, this was some bad. Like, there's more vacated. Like, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and vacated have the most reigns in WCW.
Yeah.
Like, vacated is crazy. Imagine in AEW or WWE's world title ranks, there's vacated every other month. We on the internet would be in a frenzy. We hate the interim tag. So imagine if we had to say, yo, this title is vacated again because creative just said, nah, we can't have Damian Priest lose via pinfall. So, yo, we're just going to take the title off Damian Priest and then just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we'll have a tournament next week and just, if he wins it again, he wins it again. But, we'll just get the belt on Drew off that. Like, that's insane booking that WCW was on at that time. Just for context for a lot of y'all that are tapped in that might not have been familiar, like with the documentary. Like, this is what I've gathered.
Yeah.
Vaughn, who would you take from WCW and change their trajectory?
I have a couple of names. Bret Hart, for one. I'm a Bret Hart fan myself. I got the Shawn Michaels shirt. I like both Bret and Shawn. And also, like, just for the same reasons, I wouldn't rush Bret's debut. I would not have him just show up just as a random, just as a referee. You know what I mean? Like, he's way more important than that. The dude already built a legend in WWF at the time. 5-time WWF champion, first triple. I mean, like, he was the second Triple Crown champion of all time. Whatever.
Bro, he was the face of this whole company, bro.
He carried the company on his back. This dude carried Canada on his back, and to relegate him the way that they did, completely did his career, his perception of his career a disservice, for one. You know what I mean? So I think that would have changed the trajectory of his legacy overall in general anyway. But at the same time, at least leave enough room for Sting to have that red hot run.
Hot run.
I mean,
not right for a week.
I mean, but I'm talking about
vacated. Then he won it back and lost it a week later.
All right. I mean, like I said, let's say.
Like, I get what you're saying.
All right. So what I mean by that? Let me backtrack. Outside of him vacating the title, let's change the trajectory of that. Sting doesn't vacate the belt. Let's say he has a consecutive run. Instead of him losing to Savage at Spring Stampede, you know what I mean? Like, at least build it up for where he faces someone.
Sidebar, fam. I didn't realize Randy Savage even had the WCW World Title until I read the stats, and I was like, "Oh, he did actually win the belt there."
He had it like 4 times. He had more times. He had the WWF title, but they didn't carry the same weight as his WWF title reigns. But but the thing about it, let's say that Sting never vacates after Starrcade, right? He just has a consecutive run. Goes, like I said, beats Savage, Spring Stampede, doesn't lose to him, and then, like I say, you go up against someone like Bret Hart. Then that way you have Bret Hart be the one to dethrone Sting and beat and beat the one that's at the top of the food chain, and even beat Hogan, right? And so and like I said, as far as that's one. Booker T's another one for the same reasons. Like I said, after he finishes his run with Harlem Heat, goes through his
GI Bro,
and with that, like I said, that's where I would change his trajectory instead of doing the GI Bro thing. And
I can't front. I was a fan of that shit. I was a fan I was a fan of General Huge Erection Pause and all that. That shit was. That's when I jumped into WCW, and I was like, okay, I'm entertained.
Yeah, so
between them and the Filthy Animals, I was like, I'm kind of entertained here.
So I think because of the vantage point that I come from, because of the fact that I've seen WCW like sooner, so I've seen Booker T like more so at his best, like before that. So I would change that trajectory and move him into the world title picture before WCW is worth only like $25 at that point, right? And so
that was crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what WCW was without a TV deal, basically. So as far as that, I like I said, I would have Booker T in the world title picture much sooner. That's another name, and also Chris Jericho is one whose trajectory I would change, just because of and just imagine what they could have done with Jericho, like I said, in terms of making him more important. Would he have gone to WWF, at the time that he did, or would he have gone later on? You know what I mean? So
I think he would have, regardless. I think he would have made the jump to go to the big boy leagues.
Yeah, eventually he would have. But I think his resume could have been more decorated. Like, not saying it wasn't, because he was a multi-time.
If you would have swapped the world title reign of Benoit and Jericho, I don't think it would have even mattered.
Nah, but thinking about like Jericho, when at the time that he went, if we're talking about peak WCW 98, you know what I mean? If he's world champ around that time,
yeah,
he would have got lost in the sauce.
No, the thing is, he would have
lost to Hogan.
The thing is, he would have stood out more than Voldemort.
there's a lot of people who you can say, all right, but then Hogan. It would have been anybody. So if
With
I'm
anybody.
changing the trajectory, I'm also fucking ripping that contract up.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anything, like I said, yeah, like if like actually like I think yeah, like Jericho didn't even have like an official like full contract. I don't think at that point, but at the same time, he still would have walked regardless anyway. You know what I mean. So it's just like you don't really change too much of a trajectory with him like that because eventually he was gonna go because he's already said that his ultimate goal was to go to WWE anyway.
Yeah, he would have gone. Think about this. I got a name for you, Steve Austin.
Oh man.
Think about Steve Austin's first his promos in WCW. The first one, excuse me, in ECW.
Yeah.
The first one he did was put that Hogan shirt on and mock Hogan.
Well, that's
Or
hilarious.
second one he did. What does that tell you? I feel like I was held down by this guy over here.
That's what it was.
You know what I mean? Now, it took the entire process of going to ECW and him figuring out his voice. We all know the story, right?
Right.
But just think about, had there been some kind of system there for Austin to figure out how to channel his actual personality into an on-screen character, you know, maybe lightning strikes. Who the hell knows? You know, he was
But-
talented as hell. He was rookie of the year when he first got there in every publication from people that watch wrestling. You know?
Yeah, he was. And the thing about it is if WCW, had that same type of machine as WWE, if Bischoff had the same type of creative filters that someone like Vince had, to be able to put someone like Austin in the best positions to succeed.
Agreed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's
the real trajectory is going to heavily rely on the creative system that you have there. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest difference that there's always been as far as WCW and WWE conversations is that they got really, really hot based off one really, really amazing creative idea, and it peaked, and it really was the catalyst for that entire era, right? NWO was the catalyst for WWF doing the attitude shit and all of that, 1000%.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a system that was sustainable. It was then we got a lot of guys up here making a lot of money to have a lot of influence and have the guy that's writing the checks and supposed to be the boss in our back pocket. So the system would actually have to change, and that influences every conversation about trajectory that we could possibly have.
Yeah. Because the thing because the fact that Bischoff was not just in the back pocket, in the front pocket, honestly. Because that's what we talk about as far as like who killed WCW. I think because of the fact that Bischoff aligned himself with them like that and just made it known, made it obvious, especially with the way that he treated guys like Eddie Guerrero and stuff. You know what I mean? Like he was already showing you his hand already, and so because of that, by default, they already monopolized their spot within the company and just pretty much like put a complete ceiling on everybody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What a
Looking
time,
forward
man.
to that episode, man. Episode 4, series finale. Who killed WCW? I'm tapping in. I got all of these on DVR, man.
I'm watching. I'm excited. It's been a good ass episode. It's the RSC, the Almighty, man. I lost my belt. I ain't the predictions champion no more. You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry about that, man. I'll hold that down. Don't you feel too concerned about the title, man. It's in good hands, bro.
Damn.
It's in good hands, bro. Vaughn, once again, before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you, please.
All right. Once again, you can find me on Twitter at 301 King Vaughn Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Vaughn Jr. And so, of course, you can find me on YouTube at Vaughn Resper Jr. And so of course, once again, the Victorious Ones podcast. I hope everybody can hear me. The Victorious Ones podcast. And so of course, I do my shows on Wednesdays at the earliest at usually at 8:05. And so of course, like I said, make sure I have it streamed on StreamYard and everything like that. And so of course, like I said, we constantly talk about wrestling. Like I said, along with pop culture stuff, along with sports like basketball, football. The finals obviously just ended. Talk about gaming, music, whatever. Like just well-rounded conversation. That's really what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, as far as where gaming meets sports meets comics meets movies as well as inspiration. That is the
A lot of
victorious.
artwork.
There you go. Absolutely,
There you
man.
go. There you go, King Vaughn. Make sure y'all check out that Victorious Ones podcast. Brand new episode of the Ringside Club, episode 93, happening next Thursday. We're on that road to 100, man. We're on
It's
that
our
road to
prediction
100.
episode too.
Yeah, predictions
Again.
episode
I
for
can't
Forbidden Door. And
I'm
speaking
kind
of
of
Forbidden
getting
Door,
over these prediction episodes. I mean, I love them, but I'm just like, yo, it's mad fucking pay-per-views every other week, man. It's getting out of hand now.
I enjoy him.
It's just a lot of PLEs, pay-per-views every other week now, and it's just like, yo, dog, I'm trying to have a social life here too, man. You know what I'm saying? They're killing me. They're loading up with all these PLEs and pay-per-views.
You could do like me and just don't be watching shit, bro. I ain't watch Raw this week.
Yeah,
I really don't care. I talk about what I saw. That's it.
Yeah, me too. I make sure to have black as well.
You still AO NXT, right?
Oh, yeah, still.
That's clipped at this point. I
Yeah.
watched. I put
Stop, Kaz, stop. What I tell you?
Listen,
What we talk about? Stop, Kaz, stop.
I put this past week on. I had it on, and then I turned it off. I got back to my senses, bro.
Joe Hendry got eliminated in 30 seconds, and Kaz was in the final 3. I was like, nah, this is exactly what we was podding about last month about stop, Kaz, stop. Like now,
I don't even have a real reason or anything. Like I just turned it on and couldn't do it. You know, I don't know what happened. I just turned it on.
It was Joe Henry getting eliminated. That's what did it for me.
No, I don't even know what was on the TV. I don't even know what was on the TV. But yeah, man, next week is Forbidden Door preview. Speaking of Forbidden Door, brand new episode of the Signature Move will be dropping on Monday.
Fire.
I mean, talking about a little bit about the Forbidden Door things and what move we should be looking out for. But yeah, man, it's the Ringside Club. We're about to be out of here. Make sure you hug you and yours, man.
Much
that
love.
I say, peace.